Trump's new tariffs are here. Some say they'll revive American industry. Others argue they'll cost you big time. But what if I told you that the price of the things you buy every day, groceries, gadgets, cars, could rise by over $1,000 a year? This isn't just a prediction. It's already happening. Imagine paying more for your groceries, more for your tech gadgets, and even more for your car. All because of these policies. But why is this happening? What's really going on here? Will these tariffs save American jobs or just raise the cost of living for you? Stick around, because the truth might surprise you. How will this impact your wallet? And what will you do when everything starts costing more? Drop a comment below and let's dive in, because this is just the beginning. Welcome to Cashkeys, where we break down the biggest financial trends that impact your money, so you can make smarter financial decisions. Today we're diving into Trump's 2025 tariffs and what they really mean for you, your job, and the cost of everything you buy. The price hikes caused by Trump's new tariffs aren't just hypothetical, they're already happening. If you're not prepared, this could cost you more than you think. We're talking about $1,000 more a year, higher grocery bills, and higher prices for the tech you use every day. These changes are taking place right now, and they're only going to get worse unless you know how to protect your wallet. So what does this really mean for your finances? Will these tariffs bring jobs back to America and boost the economy? Or will we be facing even higher prices on U.S. tariffs, trade, war impact on China, and inflation? Stay tuned, because the truth might surprise you. Hit that like button, subscribe to Cashkeys, and let's break it down. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to prepare for the impact of U.S. tariffs on American consumers and protect yourself from these rising costs. 1. Trump's 2025 tariffs, economic boom or bust? Trump's 2025 tariffs aim to protect U.S. industries by making imported goods more expensive. But here's the catch. These tariffs are already raising prices for you, the everyday consumer. The tariffs are substantial. 25% on cars from Europe, 15% on steel from Mexico and Canada, and 10% on everything from electronics to clothes imported from China. What does this mean for you? Prices on essential goods like food, electronics, and cars are already climbing. Ford has warned that car prices could increase by $5,000. Apple says your next iPhone could cost $150 more. These are real-world impacts on items you buy every day. Let's take a real example. Meet Jane, a working mom. Her grocery bill has increased by $200 per month. Add that to rising gas prices and utility costs. It's not just an inconvenience, it's hitting families hard. Supporters say these tariffs will bring jobs back to the U.S. and boost domestic industries. But let's pause. Who's paying the price? It's the everyday consumer, not the big companies. Industries might benefit, but if the cost of living keeps rising, can working families keep up? Jobs may come back. But is it worth it if basic goods keep becoming more expensive? What can you do about it? Be strategic with your spending. Look for cheaper alternatives. Focus on industries that may benefit from these tariffs. Planning ahead is key. You don't want to be blindsided when prices keep rising. 2. Price increases due to U.S. tariffs. What can American consumers expect? Trump's 2025 tariffs were introduced with the goal of protecting U.S. industries, especially steel and aluminum. While this might sound like a win for American workers, the reality is more complicated. Everyday consumers are already feeling the effects. These tariffs are substantial. 25% on cars from Europe, 15% on steel from Mexico and Canada, and 10% on products like electronics and clothes from China. So, what does this mean for you? Prices on essential goods like food, cars, and electronics are rising. Imagine paying an extra $200 for your monthly grocery bill. Or consider how your energy bills could increase as utilities adjust their pricing to compensate for the higher costs of production due to tariffs on imported materials. In some cases, price increases aren't just affecting luxury items. Even basic goods, like home appliances, furniture, and clothing, are becoming more expensive. For instance, if you were planning to buy a new refrigerator, you could be looking at an extra $300 to $500 on top of the price due to the increase in the cost of steel and other imported parts. The impact of U.S. tariffs on China is also being felt in industries that rely on imports. Many businesses are facing higher costs for the materials they need to manufacture products. These increased costs are passed on to you, the consumer. That means you're paying more for everyday items like clothes, electronics, and even basic household goods. 3. Which sectors win and lose from U.S. tariffs on China? Trump's 2025 tariffs are causing ripples across different industries. Steel and aluminum are benefiting as the cost of foreign-made goods rises. U.S. companies like Nucor and U.S. Steel are raising prices, boosting their profits. But what about the other sectors? Automakers are taking a hit. Ford and Tesla rely on imported car parts, and with a 25% tariff on foreign-made parts, their production costs are skyrocketing. Ford has warned that the cost of a new car could increase by up to $5,000. And you, the consumer, will feel that price increase. Farmers are struggling too. China's retaliatory tariffs on U.S. agricultural products, like soybeans and pork, are making it harder for American farmers to compete. Food prices are rising, and consumers are feeling it at the checkout. The tech industry isn't immune either. Companies like Apple and Microsoft are grappling with supply chain disruptions due to the tariffs. The cost of imported components is rising, and these higher costs are passed down to consumers. Gadgets like phones and laptops are becoming more expensive. Supporters argue these tariffs will boost American manufacturing in the long run, but what about the immediate impact? Higher prices on everyday goods are making life harder for American families. So here's the question. Are these tariffs helping American workers, or are they just driving up costs for everyone? Let me know in the comments below. We'll also dive deeper into how these tariffs are shaping global trade relations and their long-term sustainability. 4. US-China trade war impact on the global economy. The US-China trade war isn't just about the US and China anymore. It's shaking up the global economy. Countries like China and the EU are retaliating with tariffs, disrupting global supply chains. These retaliatory measures are forcing prices higher, affecting businesses and consumers worldwide. Businesses relying on cheap imports from China are feeling the pain. U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods are increasing production costs, and the higher prices are passed on to consumers. Essential goods from food to electronics are becoming more expensive. Global inflation is rising, and it's affecting countries like India and Mexico. In India, the rise in costs for U.S. imports is putting pressure on manufacturers. In Mexico, higher prices for American goods are impacting consumers. Emerging markets are struggling with these increased costs. And protectionism seems like a short-term fix, not a long-term solution. The impact on global supply chains is undeniable. As costs rise, industries across the world are facing growing instability. While U.S. industries may benefit, the global economy could pay a hefty price. So, is this trade war worth it? Is it really helping the U.S., or are these tariffs putting a strain on global trade and the economy as a whole? Drop your thoughts in the comments. 5. How U.S. tariffs impact American consumers and what you can do. U.S. tariffs are impacting American consumers, and it's hitting you right in the wallet. Prices are rising across the board, from groceries to tech gadgets. But here's the good news. You don't have to sit back and take it. You can take steps to protect yourself from these price hikes. Start with smart spending. Look for cheaper alternatives to products that are getting more expensive. Cut back on non-essential purchases like dining out or subscriptions. Every dollar counts. Next, adjust your financial planning. With rising costs, it's important to reassess your budget. Consider ways to reduce energy bills, plan meals better, and prioritize essential spending. Planning ahead will help you stay on top of these rising costs. When it comes to investing, there are opportunities in sectors benefiting from tariffs, like steel and manufacturing. Companies like U.S. Steel and Nucor are thriving, and investing in these sectors could help you make the most of this market shift. But don't forget to diversify your investments to avoid overexposure. Finally, protect your financial future by reducing personal debt and preparing for potential future price hikes. Setting up a budget that accounts for inflation will keep you from being blindsided. What steps will you take to protect your finances? Are you adjusting your spending habits or looking for investment opportunities? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'll discuss how to navigate these changes together. 6th, effect of Trump tariffs on the U.S. economy in 2025. Is it worth it? The U.S.-China trade war is affecting the U.S. economy every day. The tariffs were meant to protect American industries, but they come with a cost. Everyday Americans are seeing higher prices on everything from groceries to electronics. The idea of economic self-sufficiency is appealing, but it's hurting the middle class. Small businesses are also feeling the strain. They're forced to choose between raising prices or absorbing the costs. Either way, you're paying more. Ford, for instance, has warned that new car prices could increase by $5,000. Groceries, too, are becoming more expensive. Farmers are being hit by China's retaliatory tariffs, and consumers are feeling it at the checkout. So, are these tariffs worth it? While some argue that bringing jobs back to America is a win, the short-term pain for middle-class families and small businesses is hard to ignore. The question is, are these tariffs helping the American worker or just making life more expensive for everyone? Economic policies should balance long-term growth with short-term realities. We must ensure these policies don't leave the everyday person behind. Trump's tariffs are already reshaping the U.S. economy, but are they worth the price? While some industries are thriving, American consumers are facing higher costs. From groceries to tech gadgets, everyday goods are getting more expensive. If this video helped you understand the impact of U.S. tariffs on your finances, hit that like button and subscribe to Cashkeys for more insights into how U.S. tariffs on China and global trade policies are shaping the economy. Want to learn more? Check out our next video, where we'll discuss how the U.S.-China trade war is affecting global trade relations and what this means for the future of manufacturing worldwide. You won't want to miss it.